All right, guys, WMAP, the world's most amazing people. And, guys, I've been telling you about this guest for a while now, and I've been really excited about having Amy Cohen on because Amy is going to be in the Simply Amazing Women book that is almost completely done. I think I have one more spot to fill, and I got an amazing cast. This book is going to be incredible. It's just what Amy does is something you probably never heard before. She is the CEO of StrongestMinds, and she is a practitioner for emotional mental health. And her website is StrongestMinds.com. Now, her latest book is called On the Spectrum, Challenges Are a Family Affair, and I think it might be sold out. But if you go to StrongestMinds.com, you might be able to get it. But I'll ask her about that when I get her on. Now, she said one thing which I thought was so interesting. She said that it's not just the small things. It's the more chaotic our life is, the quicker you're going to see results. Simple things like confidence, anger can change, but I have seen some unbelievable things happen when I work with people that hear voices, anxiety, depression, child behavior challenges, PTSD, birth trauma, and more. This is somebody who really thinks outside the box and is such a talent and is helping so many people in not only this country but many other countries too. And I believe that she's still taking on a couple clients. I'm not sure, but I'll ask her when she gets on. So, guys, with no further ado, it's my honor and privilege to bring to WMAP Miss Amy Cohen. Amy, how are you today?
I am fine. Thank you. Thanks for that beautiful compliment.
Well, I mean, it's seriously. I mean, you know, when did you decide that you were going to have your profession strictly to help other people?
I really think it was decided for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I went through my own trauma and my doctor wanted to give me these flower remedies, and I thought she was a little nutty, I tried them, and once I tried them, it was this oh my God moment. And next thing you know, I am looking into them more and traveling around the world to meet these producers of these remedies, and using my friends and my family as guinea pigs with these remedies, and that's what has been pushing me forward ever since.
That's so cool, and that's when I've been talking about you. I've been getting some people asking me about the flowers, and I was talking to you about it before. Now, it's something so interesting. I thought it was eating flowers and stuff like that, but it's really the extracts of it. Can you explain what this therapy is?
Yes. So it's called flower remedies, and it's plant medicine. And you are hearing more and more about plant medicine, about food, plants, and how healthy they are. And so what happens is we have plants and flowers around the world. And I realize now that we have not been giving these plants just for their beauty, but they are actually full of healing qualities. And they take these plants and they are cooked with energy from the sun and water. And it's called energy medicine. And these extracts come from these plants. And every plant has a purpose. There are plants by the water that have purpose. There are plants all over the place. Even weeds all have a unique healing quality.
Wow. And you know what? We're going to get into that more, but one thing that I should tell the audience is you're so interesting because you call it in your last life. I mean, you were an office manager in a law firm in New York City. You worked in an office, and then you became a mother. And then through your own trauma, which I'd like to ask you about in a minute, you found this healing modality, which I think the audience should know that it's important that you just weren't into this your whole life. This came about because of your own struggle.
Absolutely.
Tell me about what that struggle was.
So I was at a time in my life where my father became ill, and my mother had died 5 years earlier, and all of a sudden I had to make these life-death decisions for my father. And you don't really think about we're ever going to be doing that, but that's what life becomes at some point. We start taking care of our family, and next thing you know, I have 5 different doctors telling me, you need to let him go, you need to let him live, he has a strong heart. It was horrible. At the same time, I was struggling with anxiety that I had no idea where it came from. And it was so difficult, I could barely even leave the house. So there was a lot going on. Family issues, I was moving, I was contemplating divorce. There were a lot of things going on. And from traveling back and forth to Florida from Chicago, I started to break down. And at one point, I could not even remember how to get back to my father's apartment one night, 1 o'clock in the morning, after I was struggling with, does he go to hospice? What does he do? And talking to people and trying to figure it all out. And I believe, looking back, I was probably having a nervous breakdown. And that's so hard for me to say because the truth is I'm a very strong woman.
Yeah.
So to think about that was just, it was just crazy for me. Next thing you know, I said, I have to call my doctor. And I had a doctor that was also a holistic doctor that had taken care of my son, and that's the doctor I chose to call. And I said, I need a script for something. I have a lot of decisions to make. I need you to give me Xanax, something where I can get back and forth on the plane, something. And she's like, I want to make you a flower remedy blend. And I was like, well, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is real life here.
Right.
Well, she wrote me the script, and she made me a blend. And she said, just take the blend first. And I could tell you, I was in such a chaotic state. Within 2 to 3 days, I was able to make these remedies. I was able to make these decisions for my father with power behind me, with strength, knowing what I needed to do.
And you didn't touch the.
I did not touch the script.
Wow.
I went back to Florida. I sat down with all the doctors. I said, I know what my father wants. We're going to do what I tell you to do. And that's exactly what we did. And I made the decisions I knew my father would want me to make with not a second thought. And I'm like, wow, just happened. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I was dealing with an issue with my son. He was getting tested for learning disabilities. He wasn't speaking at all. And I decided to make him a remedy. And next thing you know, he's speaking in school, and he's fine. And that's where it all powerhoused.
Wow.
And from there, it was just an explosion for me. And I realized I'm supposed to do more. My mission is to get this out to the world.
Wow. That's some mission right there. And the way that you came about it was pretty cool. Like, you know those controlled substances, they work because people wouldn't have all these problems if they didn't work, right? So that works, but yet you try this thing first, and you don't even need the other thing, which is pretty incredible.
Right. No side effects, brings you back to who you truly are, because we're thrown off balance how many times in a week, let alone in our lifetime.
Yeah, totally. Now, is this something that, Amy, do you do something like... so you're not out of control? Do you take some of these extracts and some of these remedies to kind of to get it in your body before something happens, or do you only take it when things get crazy?
Well, both. If you know that you're going to have a stressful day, then you reach into your cabinet and you pull out something like Elm from Bach Flower Remedies, and you take it, and that will keep it contained, and you will be focused and be able to make decisions without becoming overwhelmed or stressed. If you're in high stress pressure or trauma hits you, then you go, like she did for me, and make me a remedy based on what's going on that took me right down very quickly.
Wow, and that's what you do with your practice, right? Nobody's the same. You kind of tailor what you're making this remedy towards what the person is feeling. Is that how it works? Exactly.
I work with children with behavioral challenges. Children that you learn so much by working with people. I work with children that are adopted from other countries, and believe it or not, I have learned that even when they are under a year old, even under 6 months old, that culture is in them, and we have to work to make them feel like they are part of the group, because they already feel the difference. So that's exactly how it works. Based on what is going on with you or your particular challenge, be it purpose, confidence, anxiety, agoraphobia, whatever it is, I create a remedy based on what your particular needs are. We're all individuals.
Wow, that's so cool. Now, Amy, take me through, like, say I am going through a time in my life where I'm thinking about going on some anti-anxiety meds, some antidepressants, maybe something like that, and I go to StrongestMinds.com and I get a hold of you, what happens first? Do I get to talk to you on the phone first? Do I send an email? How does that work?
So you go to my site and you decide that you want to learn more. So you could create an appointment on my site, a free appointment where we talk for 15 minutes, or you can decide you want to talk to me right away. There's live chat, or you can email me, or you can call me. And from there, we'll decide. So you decide that you want to work with me. So what happens is I'm going to consult with you, and I want to find out exactly what's going on in your life. I want to find out trauma that has happened in your life. For many, there's even birth trauma. It goes way back. And once I find out what your core issues are, because, again, they're all individual, I make a blend based on that. And it's in a 1-ounce dropper bottle or spray bottle. And you start to use that. And what happens is, really what it's working on is the energy around us. Because, we're all electrical beings, right? We're all energy. So that remedy is working on the energy. And every challenge we face begins emotionally first. A fight with a parent, right? An argument at school. It all starts emotionally first. And then once it starts emotionally, if you don't get back into balance right away, it starts to affect you physically. So first you might lose confidence. Maybe you become anxious if that runs in your family. Then maybe you're you get high blood pressure, or you start to get palpitations with anxiety. So it goes from an emotional, mental place eventually to a physical state of being.
Wow. And now you personally are the one that mixes these remedies together?
I do.
And where do most of them they come from? Do you have to order them, or are they around do they grow around where you live? Or tell me about that.
So I work with what I feel are the best remedies, and I try different remedies all the time. So right now, the remedies that I think are really fantastic for us come out of Australia, come out of Scotland, come out of England, and come out of America as well. So based on what's going on with you, I'm going to choose a plant extract from one of these places that I like and use that as part of your remedy. And then with that, after we do the consultation, I make you the remedy blend, I send it out to you. We have a follow-up consultation in 3 weeks, because I want to know if it started for you on a scale of 10 being the highest and the hardest for you, where are you now? Are you at a 7? Are you at a 5? Are you at a 3? And now what's coming up? Is something else coming up for you? That's how we work.
That's how it works. I got you. Guys, I'm speaking with the great Amy Cohen. And Amy is the CEO of Strongest Minds. And for more information, go to StrongestMinds.com. Not only is she a very successful author, the first one, I believe, is a bestseller. Is that right, Amy?
It is. It's a bestseller.
Wow, that's awesome. So I'm so lucky to have Amy, who's going to be in the second book from WMAP, Simply Amazing Women, and we got that to look forward to. But, Amy, I wanted to know, how about allergies? Are some people allergic to some things that come from flowers and nature?
Yes, and sometimes you hear, I don't want to take this because I'm allergic to it. But what I'm starting to hear is, I had somebody who worked at a perfume counter at a department store, and she was telling me that her allergies were actually better than they were before. They were starting to calm. So I really think it depends on the person to see, do you feel better? Do you feel worse? If you feel worse, then I need to change it. But I really believe that every plant that I have seen working with clients for over 10 years has some kind of healing quality that moves you into the positive and does not affect you in a negative way.
I got you. Who's the best candidate for your work? How about people that are in chronic pain? Does that ever can that be helped?
Well, I work with people with fibromyalgia, and we've come to learn that fibromyalgia is really an emotional reaction.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a big one. A lot of people suffer from that.
Yes, and when doctors don't know what the pain is, they call it fibromyalgia. So it really depends on what the pain is, where it's coming from, what's inherited. There's so many factors. If it's emotional, then the remedies will help.
That's awesome. And you said it's fine for children and as
infants
and infants too, huh?
Yes, animals.
I was going to ask you about that. Silly enough. I was going to ask you about it. Tell me about how it works on animals.
The same exact way. So I work with animals in rescue and horses that are at rescues to work on the trauma that they're dealing with as well. And I just created a line. I have products that are going into stores, and I've just created a line for animals, for anxiety in animals, for dogs, I call them, animals that are in post-traumatic stress, for aggression.
Wow, that's so cool.
So they can be used beautifully for animals, anything live, for animals, for humans, for infants, for children.
So, Amy, what is the best part of your job? Is it seeing people improve with what you're helping them with? Is it seeing them turn the corner? What gives you the most fulfillment?
I love what I do. I feel so blessed that I get to do this. I love when people call me and trust me enough to share what they're feeling inside. I love when I do that follow-up consultation and they tell me, oh my God, I forgot I was feeling that, or I feel so much better. I had a mom call me because her daughter is now diagnosed with selective mutism. And when I found out what the symptoms are, that's a new diagnosis in the world. When I found out what those symptoms are, it sounded very much like anxiety to me.
Well, Amy, can you go back and tell me what that is again? What was the term?
It's called selective mutism, and it's just a new diagnosis that's out for children that don't want to speak. So the mom called me up, and she was referred to me, and she asked, "Can you help me?" And I said, "I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's try." So when I heard the symptoms, it really sounded like anxiety, and that's what I treated her for. She had fears. She was shy. She was not good in social situations. So I made a remedy based on that, and she's been a client for years now. There is no more selective mutism. There's no anxiety. And through the school year, she'll call me 3 or 4 times. I need a remedy for her, and takes it when she needs it, and she's totally fine.
Wow. Incredible. Guys, I'm speaking with Amy Cohen now. Amy Cohen is the CEO of StrongestMinds. She's a practitioner for emotional mental health. Go to the website, go to strongestminds.com, and pick up the book, the best-selling book, On the Spectrum, Challenges Are a Family Affair. And I'm not sure. Is that sold out? I was asking before. Is that a sold-out book, Amy?
I am not sure. It was Friday. I don't know if it's back in stock. The beauty of that book is we address symptoms of being on the spectrum that moms have spoken to me about, that I have worked with. But also, there are chapters in the book, and it's a very fast read. Every book I'm making, and I'm making a series, is a handbook. Very quick to read, gives you the remedies that you need. We have chapters in there for relationships. We have chapters in there for the rest of the family, because the belief and the motive is to have everybody living in harmony. And that's what my ultimate goal is.
Wow, so cool. And I'm so excited that you're going to be with us for a while, and we get to pick your brain, and we get to find out some more about your work and how you're helping other people. And you can just tell in your voice how passionate you are about what you do. And before we let you go here, can you tell us some of the cases that stick out in your mind about people's lives that you've changed? I know there's been a lot.
Okay, there is one case that stands out. Nothing I've changed, but the remedies have changed. And it's really my first case. A mom called me up crying. I really was not in business yet. I had no idea how to create a business. I had no idea how to create a movement to get this out there. And she called me up crying that her son was about to get institutionalized because of his rage. The schools would not accept him. He was in a special school. She lived at home. She couldn't work because she had to be available to go to the school to pick him up whenever there was a challenge. And they used to take him out of the classroom when he was angry and hold him down until he was fine, then call her to come pick him up. Her other son was on the spectrum and was in class, and he would just rock back and forth underneath the table. And yet he did no work, and every year they put him up to the next grade. They graduated him. She had nowhere to turn. She did not want her son institutionalized. He was on more than 8 medications, and she just did not know what to do anymore. So she asked me if I could help, and I really had no idea. And I told her I have no idea. But after speaking with her, I said, I'm going to put the whole family on Remedies because I want to see an entire change. And that's what I did. And within a month, there was change. Within 2 months, she had taken him to the doctor. He was off half of his medications. Her son, who was on the spectrum, was now raising his hand in school and answering questions and going from no homework to D's to C's, and was participating, starting to have friends. The boy who was in rage actually ended up not having to get institutionalized, went back to school the next year, and ended up in the armed forces and lived a fantastic life. And I found out, this is what's so interesting to me, when I spoke to her about her life, she had this son who was filled with rage, and she asked him one day, he was just sitting in the back of the car, and said to her, and said to his mom, "Where is my dad?" And she said, "Look, he used to beat me. He used to beat me when I was pregnant. He used to beat me when you were born, and I had him leave." And all of a sudden, everything changed for him. He lost all of his rage. And I believe he was also allergic to medications. Mm-hmm. So not every story is like that. But to me, that was a higher power story telling me that I need to get this out there.
Yeah, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
That was a wow moment. And that story is actually in the book. That's what moves me forward.
That's awesome. So cool. Amy, I'm so excited that we get to talk to you a lot more. We get some more interviews with you, and they're all going in the book, Simply Amazing Women. I can't wait for that, and I can't wait to learn more about you. And you're definitely one of the world's most amazing people, helping so many different ones, and you're definitely a unique person, and I love that you're a part of the show now.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we're going to hear from Amy again, but in the meantime, guys, go to StrongestMinds.com. Listen to WMAP for news about Amy, about what she's got going on. She's still taking some clients. I think you can get a consultation if you go to StrongestMinds.com. Am I right, Amy?
Yes.
Okay.
And just click on free consultation.
Awesome. All right, we're going to hear from you again, Amy. You're definitely one of the world's most amazing people, and thank you so much for giving us your time today, and can't wait to hear what you say next.
Yeah, thanks, Casey.
All right, God bless. You have these guests on here that are incredible. If you think that I have a motive for doing some things, well, I do. Look, we'll listen to anybody who has a positive story. Doesn't matter where they come from, what they believe. Some of these people come on here and they really just want to help other people. People aren't trying to be millionaires. They come on here, they just want to help other people. And I am so happy that I have the forum to give that to them. So I think we do a good thing here at WMAP. WMAP, the world's most amazing people.